That was it. I think. I didn't make any Always the same note. I'm guessing that the chest isn't as old as it looks at first glance. As far as I know, numerical locks like this haven't been around for long. You have to enter the right three-figure combination. Only, what is it? Sounds like it's done something. Got it. Combination worked. Alright, there's my stuff. Alright, I'll just take this stuff. I probably won't need the rest anymore. Oh, great. Wonderful. I'm in the middle of nowhere. The next house could be miles away, and Tom could be back at any minute. I think I better find out where I am first. If Tom does come back, I can always jump into the bushes. The boy's around 12 years old, I guess. Looks like he could be watching me. The boy's around 12 years old, I guess. Looks like he could be watching me. Hey, kid! I know you're there. Come out, I'm not gonna hurt you.
You couldn't anyway. I'm much too quick for you.
If you say so. I'm Darren Michaels, a mighty physics student.
I'm Van Helsing.
Whoa, the vampire hunter? I always thought you were a bit older, sir. Can you tell me where I am? What's this castle?
Eh? It's the old Gordon's place.
The Gordons? From Willow Creek?
Willow Creek? I don't know what you're talking about. Sir Richard and Lady Eleanor used to live here.
And where are we exactly?
Where? In Wales.
Oh, great. Have you seen the two men who are living in the castle now?
Yes, nasty men.
You bet.
One of them chased me. Said he would call the police if I don't disappear.
I'm sure he wouldn't do that.
The woman was much nicer.
Which woman?
The pretty one.
I see.
Was here a few weeks ago. She was snooping around and asked me about the summer house and the laboratory. And then she went. She took some blood samples with her.
Strange. Did she tell you her name, or what she planned to do with them?
She needed the blood for research. Angelina said.
Whoa, what?
For research. Maybe she's a vampire hunter too.
What did the woman look like?
Well, like a woman. Pretty.
Like this? Did she look like this?
Yes, that's her. But She had long blonde hair when she was here. I liked her much more like that.
Long blonde hair. And when did you say she was here?
It was before my birthday. About 4 weeks ago.
Long before we coincidentally bumped into each other in Biddeford. What kind of summer house is that?
It's all ruins. Blew up.
Really?
Yes, a long time ago. My father says that old Sir Richard died in the explosion. He had his laboratory in the summer house. He was a scientist. I think he was a vampire.
Really?
Of course. He experimented with blood. Who else does that kind of thing?
Maybe you're right. And they gave up the castle after the explosion?
Maybe. That was 10 years ago. Since I've been coming here, the castle has always been empty.
What exactly did the woman do when she was here?
Looked at the castle and the summer house, especially the house.
Do you know what she did there?
Looked for something, and I think she tried to get into the old laboratory. At some point, she gave up and started searching at the tomb in the marshes. I had to go home because it was starting to get dark. When I came back the next day, she walked past me coming from the summer house. She had a bag of blood in her hand and was very happy. And then, she left.
I saw some toys in the castle. Are they yours?
Yes, all my things. And my car. I got that for my birthday. I daren't go in there since those men have been there.
You better not. They're dangerous.
Are they werewolves?
No. But they kidnapped me.
Cool.
Listen, Van Helsing, can you do me a favor and keep watch for the car and the other man coming back? I need to have a look around here, and, I need a lookout.
Of course. Nothing gets past me.
Excellent. That can't possibly be a coincidence. Angela snoops around the Gordon estate, and I discover a connection to this very family in Biddeford. Did Angelina lie to me? The question is, did she have a good reason, or does she work for the Order? I can't leave here before I found some answers. What a dump. The castle looks like it's been fighting a battle with nature for the past 10 years. And lost. I can't believe that someone still lives here. Everything's so run down and overgrown. That goes back to the hall with the piano. A dream habitat for frogs and swamp plants. But that wasn't ever the plan, for sure. Ugh. It smells all rotten and a bit airless. Probably the leaves from the trees rotting in the water. Whoever the guy is, and judging by his clothing, I bet he never reckoned on ending up standing in a swamp. Not long now and you'll see this place as one green sea of plants. The garden continues on there. Tell you what, looks pretty damn wild back there. From here, the garden and the castle make a pretty miserable impression. That could have been a tower at one time. The princess would have been locked in the top, waiting for her knight in shining armor. Who knows what's waiting there now? I'm pretty sure that there's something interesting inside, but I can't get inside from here. A certainly old, but still functioning water tap. A water hose, which apparently they used to use to blast the garden. It's had it. There's a huge rip in it about a yard long. I was probably watering it over the winter, and when it froze, it will have bursted. Hoses have been real useful to me up till now. Hopefully the same goes for this one. The hose has had it. There's a tear in it here more than a yard long. I'm gonna keep this portrait of Angelina. She looks just stunning. The house, or what's left of it, is not as old as the other ruins here. Apart from the burnt places on the ruins, I can't spot anything else of interest. This lamp definitely hasn't worked for eons, and for sure is never going to again. Wrecked, like everything here. That's where someone either tried to turn into the entrance, or the wall fell down through old age. Down there's just stone and junk. Perhaps a few objects from the Middle Ages. Swords, armor, that sort of thing. But that's for archaeologists to worry about. This wall is definitely just as old as the tower, and just as shaky. Had to keep away from it. The only function of the wall seems to be to hold up the gate. I won't disturb it. The bowl is full to the brim with water. The outlet's probably blocked so that the rainwater can't escape. A tree's blocking the way, but I reckon I can climb over the trunk. Oh, damn! That could also have gone in my eye. Luckily, it seems to have not rained here for a while. That's why the morass is relatively hard and dry. Otherwise, I would have sunk in deeper, and might not have been able to get out on my own. Luckily, it seems to have not rained here for a while. Otherwise, I would have sunk in... A pulley, somewhat battered and weathered. But it still works. Looks useful. I'll take it with me. The pulley is hung up somewhere up there with a hook. The hook below then slowly pulls itself into the housing when you pull on the thin chain. A simple principle. All you need is somewhere to secure it, and you have to get the weight securely fastened onto the lower hook. Huh. It's a miracle that the stairs haven't collapsed, but I'm still not gonna step on them. A hook. It still looks pretty sound despite the rust. It's damn well fixed. I'm not gonna get it out with my bare hands. No. I don't need to strain myself there. It's well fixed. The tree has crashed completely into the house. Perhaps the softened ground couldn't support the weight anymore. Or maybe it got ripped up in a storm. It's a miracle that so much of the house is still standing after the tree smashed into it. Nothing interesting to see. The roof is caved in and buried the room below it. No chance. The door's wedged. And even if it wasn't, the building looks likely to fall down any minute anyway. Is that also some kind of grave? Huh. Nope. Rather more like a water basin. There's about half an inch of duckweed floating on the water. A monument. And there's more behind. Maybe some kind of family plot. Strange. None of the graves look like they're from recent years. Most of the stones must have been standing there for decades. Three very similar trees, all about as thick as an arm, about 3 or 4 yards tall, and pretty bent over by the wind. 3 very similar trees, all... The statues are of veiled women, grieving for the dead. In their book it says... nothing. The swamp must have expanded in the last few years. I can't imagine that people would have built houses and put a cemetery in the middle of a swamp. Huh. The ground's real soft everywhere here. I think it must be a swamp. I bet as soon as it rains, you can't put one foot in front of the other. This building must be the only one you can still get into. The summer house is only 20 yards away from here. There are some stone chips which have come off the edge. Doesn't look all too old. There are some stone chips which have come off the edge. Doesn't look all too old. There are 2 belts. They look like carrion slings. And they look new. The belts are a ripstop weave. They'll sure hold quite a bit. 2 ripstop carrion slings. This stone statue is covered in moss, like the others. It's carrying a metal shield. Unusual. The shield hasn't been moved in years. False alarm. A stone figure holding weighing scales. The scales are empty. Could be Poseidon. Well, the statue's got a trident in its hand at least. In horror stories, there's always secret passageways under sarcophaguses like this. And they They always lead down into secret underground chambers. In reality, though, I think I can exclude that idea. There are only probably some horrible beetles and corpse-eating maggots in there. Little Van Helsing reckoned that Angelina had spent a long time messing around the tomb here. And here's the lid, not lying squarely on the sarcophagus. There are some stone chips which have come off the edge. Doesn't look all too old. Angelina had opened the sarcophagus, that much is clear. But why? I'll place the sling around the back right corner and the other around the front left one. The slings are exactly long enough to touch in the middle. Great idea. Oh, but sadly I've forgotten my crane. You know, the one I wanted to hang the pulley from. The slings could definitely carry the lid, and I've put them on so that the lid can't tip. Hi there.
Hello.
That's a nice hatchet you got there.
Mm-hmm. I found it.
Do you think I could borrow it?
A vampire hunter never puts his weapon down.
I see. Do you never have a break from being a vampire hunter?
What else can I play? All my toys are inside.
Hey, look!
Ooh, my car!
Hey, buddy, I've got to get going, okay? But, can you hold the fort here?
Of course.
I don't know what I could ask him at the moment. The little guy's hatchet. Oh, it's seen better days. Can I just borrow the hatchet?
Yeah, of course.
The hatchet is old and pretty rusty, but it looks kinda halfway usable. This'll take a while. The axe is real blunt. Okay, I felled the trees and trimmed the trunks for a good 1.5 yards. The tree trunks are about an arm's thickness and pretty long. Now how does that go? You can somehow rig up a tripod out of 3 pieces of wood. So, and then like so. Yep, exactly. And now, 1 tripod. Just has to be erected now. I'll position it as well as I can over the sarcophagus. Great idea. Oh, but sadly... Okay, it's standing real firm. And I think it's gonna take the weight of the slab. The trunks are freshly felled. They'll hold quite a bit. It's the rope that's the weak point. I'll hang the pulley on the rope. I'll try to get as much of the rope as I can. Just makes it. Real careful. I hope it's gonna hold. What have we got here? Steps leading down. The gap is big enough to squeeze through. I only hope that my rig up doesn't collapse as soon as I'm in. Whoa, now where's this then? Looks like the inside of a tower. And here's some kind of crater in the floor. Looks like something's exploded here. The safe survived the explosion undamaged, I'd say. These burns may have well come from a welding set. The kid reckoned that Angelina looked real pleased with herself. Somehow she must have got the safe open. Now what have we got here? A combination lock. But not with numbers, with letters. Sheesh, I can only guess here. It looks like there wasn't any fire. There's no charring in the rubble. An explosion which caused this kind of damage in a closed space? So Richard wouldn't have stood a chance. Chains, wrought iron rings, crudely hewn stones. Not exactly what you'd call modern craftsmanship. Rather more like a Frankenstein movie. Whether the crack goes back to the explosion or appeared later, I don't know. Whichever the case, it doesn't look good. Logic tells me that the tower has been standing like this for years, and so the chances are pretty damn slim that it's all of a sudden gonna collapse this minute, just while I'm here. But my gut tells me that I shouldn't stay here any longer than I absolutely need to.